I want to tell you something that nobody is going to tell you. When a wealthy Jewish man walks into your home, and I mean a man who has actually built something, who has sat across tables with serious people, who understands what money really is, he is reading you. Not your couch. Not your television. Not your car in the driveway. He is reading you. And he knows, within 30 seconds, whether you are going to be rich or whether you are going to stay exactly where you are. I am going to tell you exactly what he sees. My name is Rabbi Daniel Lapin. I have spent my life studying the intersection of ancient Jewish wisdom and modern financial reality. And what I am about to share with you comes not from a self-help book. It comes from 3,000 years of accumulated understanding that kept Jewish communities alive and prosperous through every catastrophe history could invent. This wisdom belongs to everyone. It always has. But most people never hear it. Pay attention. The first thing he notices before he even sits down is your books. Not whether you have books. Everyone has books. He is looking at how you have books. In every traditional Jewish home I have ever entered, from the poorest families in Minsk to the most successful families on the Upper West Side, the books are worn. The spines are cracked. The margins are written in. Pages are folded. There are sticky notes and underlines and arguments happening in the white space between the printed lines. Because in our tradition, a book is not decoration. A book is a conversation with a great mind that has been dead for 200 years. And you do not sit quietly in that conversation. You argue back. You push. You question. You make the wisdom yours. When a wealthy man sees your books pristine on a shelf, perfect, beautiful, untouched, you know what he thinks. He thinks, this person wants to appear educated without doing the work of becoming educated. And that single habit, the preference for appearing over becoming, will keep you poor for the rest of your life. Now, do you have no books at all? Just screens everywhere? That is also information. It tells him you are a consumer. And consumers do not build wealth. Producers build wealth. Consumers transfer their wealth to producers. A dog-eared, argued with, margin-filled book is one of the most powerful wealth signals a human being can display. It costs almost nothing. It means everything. The second thing he notices is your walls. And I want to be very precise here because people misunderstand this. He does not care if your art is expensive. He does not care if it came from a gallery or a garage sale. What he is asking, unconsciously, automatically, because this perceptiveness is trained, is this: does what is on these walls tell me something true about who this person is? Decoration is about filling space. Curation is about expressing a self. I have been in homes worth $10 million that felt completely empty, walls covered in coordinated prints that match the furniture, motivational quotes in tasteful frames, Paris in black and white above the fireplace. Beautiful. Hollow. Nothing. And I have been in modest apartments, small, old, nothing fancy, where every single thing on the wall told me a story. A photograph from a trip that changed them. A painting by an artist they could actually tell me about. A child's drawing, framed seriously, because the parent genuinely believed it was beautiful. Those walls told me, here is a person who has developed a sense of self strong enough to impose it on their environment. You want to know the financial implication of not having that? People without a strong sense of self make financial decisions based on what they think other people expect of them. They buy the car their neighbor would respect. They take the vacation that photographs well. They choose the career their parents would brag about at dinner. Every single one of those decisions is made by someone else. And you are paying for it. The third thing, and this one surprises people, is your kitchen. Specifically, your pantry. Now listen to me carefully, because I am not talking about whether you cook gourmet food or whether you eat simply. I am talking about something much more profound. The laws of kashrut, our Jewish dietary laws, have many explanations. But one practical effect they had across centuries is this: they forced Jewish families to be intentional about what came into their homes. Every food item required a decision. There was no such thing as mindless consumption. When I look at your pantry, I am not judging what you eat. I am reading your relationship with consumption itself. Do you plan or do you react? A pantry that reflects planning, staples in reasonable quantities, variety that reflects actual cooking, things organized so you can find them, minimal waste. A pantry that reflects reaction, 12 flavors of a chip you bought on impulse, 17 condiment packets you'll never open, 3 of the same item because you forgot you already had it, things you bought because they were on sale for something you will never make. Or the other extreme, nothing. Empty. Because you eat out every night, you order everything, you have no domestic infrastructure at all. Here is the truth that behavioral economists have confirmed with decades of research: the way you manage your pantry is the way you manage your money. Impulse purchasing in small things is impulse purchasing in large things. Poor planning at the grocery store is poor planning in your financial life. An inability to delay the small gratification, "I want these chips right now," is the same inability that keeps people from building savings, from investing, from making decisions that pay off in 5 years instead of 5 minutes. Your pantry is a mirror. Most people do not want to look. The fourth thing he notices is your clutter. And here I want to make a distinction that is very important. I am not talking about messiness. Messy and cluttered are not the same thing. A creative, productive person can have a messy desk and a rich mind. That is fine. I am talking about objects that have lost their intentional relationship with you. Objects that are there because inertia keeps them there. The exercise equipment you bought 2 years ago and have used 4 times. The clothes from a size you haven't been in a decade. The boxes still packed from a move 3 years ago. The gadgets still in their packaging because you never actually needed them, you just wanted to want them. All of that clutter is a physical manifestation of a cognitive trap that Jewish tradition has always warned against. We call it being trapped by what was instead of being free to pursue what is. In secular terms, behavioral economists call it the sunk cost fallacy. You keep the object because of what you paid, not because of what it is worth to you now. This matters enormously in financial life. The investor who cannot sell a losing stock because selling means admitting the purchase was wrong. The entrepreneur who cannot pivot a failing business because he has already spent so much on it. The employee who stays in the wrong career because he spent for years getting the degree. All of that is the same mistake as keeping the exercise equipment you do not use. The Jewish community's historical relationship with objects is pragmatic, not sentimental. For a very practical reason, we were expelled. Many times. With very little notice. You learn quickly which objects have real value and which objects only feel like they do. The question is never, "What did I pay for this?" The question is always, "What is this worth to me right now?" Ask that question about everything in your home. Then ask it about every financial position you hold. The answer will change your life. The fifth thing is evidence of learning. Not books on shelves. I mean, is there proof in your home that you are actively becoming someone different than you were last year? A musical instrument that is visibly played, not displayed, played. A notebook with actual thoughts in it, not a beautiful journal bought 6 months ago and opened twice. A language you are studying. A project being built. A skill being developed. A whiteboard with a real idea on it. In our tradition, we call it Talmud Torah, the ongoing, never finished, perpetual engagement with learning. The Talmud itself has no end. That is not an accident. That is a statement about what human life is supposed to look like. A person who is actively learning is a person who believes they can become more than they currently are. And a person who believes they can become more than they currently are makes investments in themselves, in their families, in businesses and ideas that people who have stopped learning never make. I have visited homes of people who have achieved great things. A common thread: there is always something in progress. Always something being figured out. The learning never stops. A home optimized only for rest and entertainment, every room designed to consume, nothing designed to produce, to think, to create. That home is telling you something very serious about what the person who lives there believes about their own future. The sixth thing he notices you may not expect. How you relate to money physically. Not how much you have. How you relate to it. Do you open your mail? Do you look at your bank statements? When a bill arrives, do you face it or do you put it in a pile? In Jewish tradition, we have a concept called kavod, honor, dignity, respect. And this concept applies not only to people but to things that represent human effort and time. Money is crystallized human effort. When you treat money with avoidance, with fear, with deliberate not looking, you are treating something that represents your labor as if it is an embarrassment, as if it is shameful. I see this pattern constantly. People who are financially struggling do not look at their accounts. They do not face their debt. They open credit card statements with one eye closed, afraid of what they will see. They have no organized place for financial documents. Bills pile up until the anxiety of the pile is worse than the anxiety of the bill. And wealthy people from tradition see this and they know this person has a fear relationship with money. And a fear relationship with money guarantees the thing they fear. The practice is simple. Not easy. Simple. You face your financial life completely, totally, every week. You look at every number. You organize every document. You make every decision intentionally, even the uncomfortable ones. You treat your money the way you treat anything you respect, with full, direct attention. The mail gets opened. The statements get read. The numbers get faced. That practice alone will change your trajectory. The seventh thing, what your home says about how you value your time. Does your home support your most important work? Or does it resist it? Think carefully about that. Is there a space, even a corner, even a chair with good light and a small table, where serious thinking happens? Where you do the work that could change your circumstances? Where you write, or plan, or study, or build? Or is every square foot of your home dedicated to consumption? Watching, eating, relaxing, being entertained? In traditional Jewish scholarly homes, and I am talking about modest homes, small homes, poor homes, the table where the family ate dinner was also, after dinner, the table where the father opened the Talmud and studied. Where the children did their work. Where serious thinking happened. The home was organized around use. Not around display. Not around comfort. Around the active use of a human mind. When I walk into a home that has a beautiful television room, a magnificent kitchen for entertaining, comfortable furniture in every corner, 3 streaming subscriptions, and no space, not one single space, that is organized around doing serious productive work. I know that the person who lives there does not believe their own thinking is worth a dedicated space. And if you do not believe your thinking is worth a space, you will not do the thinking that could make you wealthy. The eighth thing, if you have children, is visible everywhere. Are there books for your children beyond what school requires? Is learning treated as something exciting that happens at home, at the dinner table, in conversations, in questions that get taken seriously, or is it something children are sent away to do? The dinner table in a traditional Jewish home was a study session in disguise. Arguments about ideas were welcome. Children's questions were taken seriously. Debate was not disrespectful, debate was how truth was found. That practice, arguing your way to truth, being challenged on your ideas from childhood, learning to hold 2 contradictory ideas and figure out which is more true, that is one of the most powerful cognitive tools for financial success ever developed. It is exactly the mental habit you need to see through a bad investment, to evaluate a business, to make a decision when the information is incomplete, which is always. Homes where children argue at the dinner table, respectfully, seriously, with parents who engage rather than shut it down, are producing something precious. Homes where children are handed a screen to keep them quiet are producing something else. I say this not to judge. I say this because it can change. Tonight. It can change at tonight's dinner table. The ninth thing is how you welcome people into your home. We have a term, haknasat orkim. The welcoming of guests. It is considered among the highest of all virtues. Not because guests will make you rich, because the practice of genuine hospitality shapes the person who practices it. But there is a distinction. And wealthy people feel it the moment they walk through your door. Performative hospitality says, "Look at what I have prepared. Look at how well I entertain. Be impressed by my home, my food, my hosting." Genuine hospitality says, "You are here. What do you need? How can I make this good for you?" One is focused on the host. One is focused on the guest. This maps directly onto how people build businesses. Performative business people are focused on how they appear, their brand, their image, their reputation. Genuine business people are focused on what their customers actually need. And the genuine ones win. Every time. Over the long run, the genuine ones always win. You can feel the difference the moment you walk through the door. And so can everyone who walks through yours. Now I have told you 9 things. And they all point to one truth. One truth that underlies everything I have said. It is this: your future self is the most important person in your home. Not you today. Not your guests. Not the version of yourself you want people to perceive when they visit. Your future self. Every decision you make in your home, what you read, what you put on your walls, what you bring into your pantry, what you keep and what you release, how you use your time and your space, every single one of those decisions is either an investment in your future self or a consumption by your present self. This is what the Jewish intellectual tradition understood. Communities that built wealth across centuries, in conditions that should have made wealth impossible, in circumstances where everything was taken away and built again and taken away and built again, they understood that the home is not a stage. It is not where you perform the life you wish you had. The home is a factory. It is where the future is manufactured. Day by day, habit by habit, small decision by small decision, compounding silently and powerfully toward an outcome that is not random. Wealth is not an event. Wealth is a consequence. It is the consequence of 1,000 small decisions made with the future self in mind rather than the present comfort in mind. And every one of those decisions is visible in your home. The question is not whether someone can read your home. The question is, what will they read? That is up to you. Starting now.